and being, hi, photogenic.
You're gorgeous, darling. You're gorgeous.
You too, Howard. You too. Okay. Oh, hold on. Oh, see, you can hear me on here. This is very fun. Hold on. Okay. Oh, hold on. Oh. See, that's what you do right there. Good morning. We got a good morning here on Periscope. Hi, everybody. How you doing? We are making this. It is a live feed. Oh, no, that's going to be hard. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
There we go. See, we just have to mute the different things so that I can see you and all of your great chats, you guys. So make sure to go in right now on Periscope. We're going to try to get to as many of your questions as possible. You're right here actually on this cool little tripod. So I'm going to be looking over here a lot. That's me looking for your questions. They do disappear very quickly, you guys. It's in like 3 seconds. So if you do not get an answer, please just repeat yourself. I promise we're going to try to get to you. And here we go. Half point PPR. We need a wide receiver and a flex. Crabtree, Fitzgerald, and Jordan Howard. Go.
Crab and Fitz, baby. Crab and Fitz. That's who I like for this one. I mean, half point PPR. There's the questions about Jordan Howard's shoulder, whether or not he's going to be limited in his snaps. Are they going to increase Tariq Cohen? You got Palmer in a great matchup here. They're going to have to go a little bit more pass friendly here because of no DJ. I love Fitz in this one. And then, come on, Crabtree against my Jets? You gotta be kidding me here. That's like the biggest layup in sports right now.
Yeah, I also like Amari Cooper with a bounce back. I mean, the guy logged 4 drops in one game. He had 4 drops all of last season. Now, he did lead the league in 2015 with 18 drops. So it's not like this guy doesn't understand drops. But still, to get 4 in one game, I think he's going to do some redemption there. So we got to like that. If you guys have any questions, you can also go to Facebook. We will be answering questions we are right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. So we'll get to it. We got Dalvin Cook, Emmanuel Sanders, Keenan Allen in the flex. Who are your starters? If those are your flex options, right?
Dalvin Cook, Emmanuel Sanders, and Keenan Allen here.
Yeah.
Who's going in the flex? I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna go with Keenan Allen here. I mean, I think it's a nice matchup. I like Keenan Allen a lot. I like him for the deep ball. I like him for the touchdown upside. I do like Emmanuel Sanders in PPR right now. I think that his matchup is really solid. And I know that, you look at the Dallas secondary. The Dallas secondary is absolutely banged up. Or even Orlando Scandrick. I don't even know if Orlando Scandrick's going to play today. I know he broke a bone in his hand last week. So if Scandrick is out, I mean, that whole secondary is wide open. So Sanders is probably going to be the guy who has the higher floor. But I do think that Keenan Allen finds his way into that end zone against Miami.
Yeah, I like that too. He did say it's non-PPR, but even a non-PPR, I think that's pretty good. I do like Dalvin Cook for the floor, though. A half-point PPR running back and a flex, Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, Crowell, Landry, and Corey Coleman. A lot of good options again.
Yeah, right? That's a tough one there. I mean, I'll rule out Jordan Howard. Just because of, the uncertainty there. So I'll throw Tariq Cohen in because, listen, we know he's got a role. We don't know what the role is. We don't know how defined it's going to be. So I'll sit with him. And who are the receivers?
I don't know, and it's gone. But it was Crowell, Coleman, and Landry, I guess. Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow, can you flex Crowell too? Could you go Tariq Cohen and Isaiah Crowell?
I mean, maybe, but do you want to flex Crowell versus Baltimore's defense? I would rather go Jarvis Landry for the upside, actually. I think he's going to kill it in the slot today. I think out of everyone, I think everyone's going to be really sad about the Devontae Parker thing today, not for the season, but just for today, because it's just I don't like the matchup. A lot of people like it because Verrett's out, but I think Hayward's going to be following him. So shadowing, sorry. I'm not quite sure I love it. It's going to go one of two ways. Either Parker's going to have a huge game, because Verrett's out and they are trying to overcompensate everybody. I don't know. Or it's just going to be killer in the slot because that is where they're weakest. So it's going to be intriguing. Corey Coleman, I'm interested to see. Listen, we have such a small amount of data. But, man, it looks like the Baltimore Ravens defense is back to the Baltimore Ravens of old. And that really scares me. So just putting that out there, especially with a rookie quarterback. Is Watkins going to be shadowed by Norman? Yeah, I think so. Yep. Ingram or Cohen?
I'm gonna go with Cohen again here. I mean, like, I don't mean to like drink the Kool-Aid because that's what I'm totally doing. I'm totally drinking the Cohen Kool-Aid on on certain plays here though, because again, we know he's gonna have a role. It's not yet that defined, but the Bears are going to incorporate him, and I just think that when you're dealing with a guy, when you're dealing with that Saints backfield, I hate the Saints backfield right now because you've got Adrian Peterson, and is the squeaky wheel going to get the grease this week? You've got Alvin Kamara, who's got phenomenal upside here, and then you've got all reliable Mark Ingram. So we saw the way the carry distribution went last week, and it was like 6 for Ingram, 6 for Adrian Peterson, 7 for Kamara. I mean, it's gonna be as ugly as the Bengals backfield is, in my opinion. So I would just probably avoid that altogether there. So you might as well just Tariq Cohen it this week.
I'm getting a Breeze or Stadford question. I think it's clearly Breeze against the New England Patriots. I mean, I don't want to make fun of your question. That's not what I mean. But I will say that, in my opinion, Drew Brees at home is like a must start every year, every time, every place, every world, as far as I'm concerned. There's not a world in which I do not start Drew Brees when he's at home. Full point PPR, need a flex. Cooper Kupp, Jamison Crowder, Pierre Garçon, or Tariq Cohen.
Ooh, drink that cup, baby. I'll take Cooper Kupp. I love the matchup he's got coming out of the slot. I really, really do. I think the matchup coming out of the slot, what is it, Kendall Fuller? Is it Kendall Fuller that he's going up against?
Yeah,
I think
wrong.
Kendall Fuller is like, I don't know what I can get away with saying and what I can't get away with saying right now, but let's just put it this way. Kendall Fuller, bleh.
Right. Right. We just got a question about Kupp versus Galloway. Listen, I like Kenny Galloway. I don't like anyone against the Giants, who is maybe the team's third option, maybe fourth option if you put in Theo Riddick. We don't know what's going on with that. I as far as I'm concerned, I have no problem with Kenny Galloway. Golladay is a guy who is going to get the touchdowns, which is great. But against those Giants, it's tough. Is ODB even an option this week? I'm assuming you mean OBJ, the great ODB. But I will say I'd like to get your take on this. This is going to be a hot topic. Is O.J. Howard going to be viable tight end soon? And is Kupp a must play in DFS? Probably. And OBJ, that's right, OBJ. Yeah, so I would say that I'd like to hear your take on Odell Beckham this week, what you're doing with him. Are you dealing with this? It looks like he's probably going to play. He did travel, or he didn't have to travel there in the Giants Stadium, but he is looking like he's going to play this week, Howard. Do you trust him to be the guy on Monday Night Football against the, suspect Lions defense? They looked good against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals beat themselves a lot there too. So I'm not going to go all in on the Detroit Lions defense because of that performance. But I do think this is something that could kind of blow up in your face. And I think it's more about, are you comfortable with it blowing up on your bench or decimating your starting lineup possibly? There's a huge variant of possibilities here, Howard. What do you think?
All right, so here's the deal. I am not starting Odell Beckham in any league unless I have a viable pivot from either Golden Tate or Kenny Golladay. I'll even say Marvin Jones, even though Marvin Jones is probably going to see a lot of Janoris Jenkins here. But to me, I don't think you can trust Odell Beckham unless you have one of those last-second pivots, because you don't know what's going to happen. He's going to go to warm-ups on Monday night, and things are going to tighten up on him. He's going to be like, oh. Not to mention, if he does play, he's going to see a lot of Darius Slay. Mm-hmm. And I think that, that's going to I think Slay is the type of corner who's going to hit Odell Beckham at the line, who's going to give him a hard time. And if he can kind of help, aggravate or, push him in a way that, maybe kind of, Odell Beckham. I mean, the dude's like hypersensitive. So, maybe Slay kind of, gives him a hit while he's in mid stride when he's coming down on that ankle. And maybe that's, a possibility there. I just think that it's way too risky right now to go with Odell Beckham. If you don't have a viable option for the pivot on Monday night, then stay away. Just leave him on your bench. Yes, could he blow up? Of course he could blow up. But with the way that Ben McAdoo is running this crap offense, and with the way Eli is even throwing the ball, all sorts of red flags to me, and it's week 2. I'd rather just play it safe for right now. It's not do or die for you at this point in time. Even if you lost week 1, this isn't do or die. You can recover from 0-2, but not that I think leaving Odell Beckham should really hinder you that much. That's my take.
Yeah, and I'm a big Odell Beckham believer, and I still am pausing too. I know you're not as much, but I am a big time believer. I'm having a difficult time with today. Now, again, if we don't get to your questions on Periscope, please repeat them. They disappear and they don't let me look back at them. So if I don't get to them, please, please, please. All right, so we have a question about a PPR league. Macklin, Kupp, or Thielen, and I find that an intriguing question. I think Macklin could have a huge game this week, but I also think Kupp could have a huge game, and I'm worried about Sam Bradford's injury. So even though I am a Thielen groupie, sign me up. I'm right here. Been here for a while. But yeah, so I think that this is an intriguing question, though. And this is something that a lot of smart fantasy players have, this question right here, because that is called nice depth.
It is called nice depth. I definitely, listen, I'm going to rule it out. I'm going to rule, like Sam Bradford, the last thing I read, game time decision. They're That's just, and they basically said he's either going to play or he's not going to play. Okay, and if they say that he's going to play, they're counting on him to play the entire game. And I just think that at this point in the season, they're not going to want to take that much of a risk with his knee. So if he's out, I mean, the risk of him being out, I mean, downgrades Diggs and Thielen, huge for me, huge. Case Keenum, bleh. I guess the only one I'm kind of not downgrading a little bit or that much is Kyle Rudolph, just because I know that Case Keenum can throw it to the tight end, and that's about it. But Diggs and Thielen, for me, are kind of on the outs just based on this news about Sam Bradford and whether or not he's actually going to play. So that puts it, It puts it at Cooper Kupp or Jeremy Macklin. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that Macklin is the safe play. I think Macklin is the floor. So I'm looking at him, as being the higher floor player here. Cooper Kupp, though, could kind of go off, especially with Sammy Watkins being shadowed. Like, Sammy Watkins is going to see a lot of Josh Norman. It's going to kind of open things up. They're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to look for Cooper Kupp a lot more. So I'm leaning towards Kupp over Macklin, but I think you, Brandon, you're a better judge of Macklin than I am right now, because...
Well, I'm not, because we haven't been able to see this offense. You know, Joe Flacco was hurt the entire preseason. We had this Ryan Mallett disaster happening. We didn't know what was going on. We don't know what the target share looks like. I was encouraged by his big play last week where he was able to make a touchdown out of like basically no targets, but they didn't have to do anything. They kept getting the turnovers off of Andy Dalton. So literally the offense was just on autopilot. Joe Flacco had 17 pass attempts and the guy was making 40 a game last year. So clearly that's not what the offense is going to look like moving forward. Now this week, they're going to go up against the Cleveland Browns, which could be the same scenario where they just kill this rookie quarterback and they're not going to have to do a lot on offense again. So there's a possibility that he actually is not the safer option because they just may not need him if this defense is as good as they looked. I'm not entirely sure. Again, small sample size. But I'll say this. I think that both Macklin and Kupp are really solid PPR plays for the rest of the season. I think you're going to be glad to have both of them. I think they're a little bit of a wash here. I may go Cooper Kupp with Sean McVay going up against his old team. I think that they're going to be, again, Josh Norman's going to be all over Sammy Watkins. He knows that. So he's just preparing for Sammy Watkins to not even be in the game as far as I'm concerned. And then he's going to work in Cooper Kupp. And I think Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee are interesting plays as well, especially in DFS. So, yeah. Garcon or Davis? What do you think about that?
Who, Corey Davis? Oh, again, it's Garcon against that Seattle secondary, which obviously is a concern for me. It's so funny. Everybody was like, really? Carlos Hyde? I should bench Carlos Hyde. I'm like, does anybody realize that Carlos Hyde actually rushed for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns the last time he faced Seattle? It's a different story with Garcon.
He's in one of my videos too, actually, where I was like, I think he's the contrarian play of the week, actually, is Hyde at Seattle, frankly. But yeah, no, I'm with you though. But if we're looking at Corey Davis versus Garcon,
I'm going to have to lean Davis. I mean, I do. I don't love the play, but I just think that Garcon being the primary target there and having to face Richard Sherman a bunch, having to, Earl Thomas coming over and helping out, I just think that it's probably a little bit more of a risk play there with Garcon.
Yeah, again, please do repeat. Someone just said, sorry about repeating. Guys, I cannot see anything that you typed a few minutes ago. It literally disappears. A lot of people don't know that about Periscope.
Come on!
Yeah, so if Howard's in the middle of an explanation, and it disappears from my brain too, because they're just like, boop, 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 they're gone. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome. You're welcome for the advice. And seriously, you guys, make sure to put them back in here. All right, so.
Sponsored by Red Bull, the most delicious breakfast drink you could possibly find.
I wish it was a sponsor. All right.
I know, right?
Full point PPR, Ingram, CJ Anderson, Hyde, or Rob Kelly, living the OBJ drama, Mike Wallace, Sanu, or Zay Jones. I think that one you go Sanu.
Yeah, I think he goes Sanu over Zay Jones, no question. The running backs are interesting. It was C.J. Anderson and Carlos Hyde is who I have it down to there, and that's a tough one there. But I mean, I'm going to probably go with C.J. Anderson going up against Dallas. I think that Dallas is going to have to pull back the linebackers a little bit more into coverage. They're going to have a hard time really balancing between the run and the pass, given the way their secondary is just absolute crap right now. So, yeah, I'll go C.J. Anderson. And I hate C.J. Anderson, too. So you know that I'm thinking objectively.
Really? I like C.J. Anderson. We got a Dez or Diggs question, so we're going to go with Dez. Trade Marshawn Lynch for Mike. I'm sorry I didn't see the last part of that. Please repeat. Again, sorry, you guys. It goes like this. So, Galloway, Aguilar, or Rashard Matthews in PPR?
Galladay, Rashard Matthews, or who?
Aguilar.
Ooh.
So Rashard Matthews on this one.
I got to go Rashard.
No way, man. I know they're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jacksonville Jaguars defense has improved, but are they as improved as it looked like against Houston? I don't think so. Houston was a hot mess. Trade Lynch for Gillislee. And then Wentz or Alex Smith. You're welcome.
All right, so no and Wentz. No to the trade. You might as well just ride Marshawn as long as you can. You probably get better value for him after weeks like 3 or 4 when he's had a couple more games to kind of roll through there. And then I think you trade him because I think he peters out after that. And then Wentz versus Alex Smith. Guys, listen. Alex Smith had a great day against New England. But look at Alex Smith's history. Just go back and look at it. I mean, from day one. Whether it's San Francisco or Kansas City, we know what this guy is all about. He is not a guy who's going to consistently post 300-yard games with multiple touchdowns. That's just not his. He's not about that life, people. He's just not about that life. So please, for the love of God, stop with the Alex Smith stuff.
He is about winning, though. The guy is about winning. He's one of the most winningest quarterbacks in NFL history. I mean, when you look at the percentage there, I have to give him props for that. I agree with you. I think that the real problem here, though, is that I'm not going to jump in here. I like Wentz, so I'm going to stick with Wentz with you, absolutely. But I do think this is the best team Alex Smith has ever had around him. I will give him that. I don't know if that means that he's going to be a guy that I want to plug in, but man, if you're in a 2-quarterback league and you took Alex Smith late, congratulations. I think he is a high floor option, though, the rest of the year. Low ceiling, as always, really low ceiling, but a high floor option. That team is delicious. Top to bottom. They didn't even have Travis Kelce because the Patriots took him away and they didn't even care.
Right, but the problem that I have also is the fact that they don't have decent secondary wideouts. Chris Conley, Albert Wilson, these guys are trash. I mean, listen, we've seen I was on the Conley train the last 2 years. I'm like, dude, the guy's got great size, he's got great hands, the wingspan is insanity. But
they don't need those two guys.
Really? So you're just saying Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, and Travis Kelce, and they need no other options?
Yeah. How many teams have that many really good players?
Well, let's see.
There's a lot of pedestrian players out there. I mean, I just am saying, like, those are 3 elite dudes. Those aren't like 3 like okay dudes. I think they're elite. I think that we may have sold Tyreek Hill a little bit short, frankly. I think I like that he's the only gadget player I can get behind. That's all I'm going to say. Love the honesty. Keep up the grind. You're welcome. Yeah, the honesty is here, my friends. Starting Alex Smith today. That man is playing with fear of losing his job. That's true. They haven't seen Hunt or how they were going to use Hill. Pats couldn't prepare, and they will bounce back. I agree. They took away Kelsey because they thought that was their only weapon, and then no one's going to do that again, let me tell you. That did not work out. Alex Smith or Cam Newton?
Cam. I mean, I'm worried about the shoulder, too.
I'm worried. Listen, I have shoulder problems. Hold on. Half-point PPR, J.J. Nelson, Corey Davis, or Kendall Wright?
Ooh, go J.J. Nelson. With John Brown out, I'm going with J.J. Nelson on this one.
I agree. Also, I was going to say that I have shoulder problems. And when I saw Cam doing this over and over again, my heart sunk because I know exactly, you guys, that is not good. I do that myself. That means he's in pain. Diggs or Dez PPR? We already answered this, but it's definitely Dez, period, with or without Bradford as far as I'm concerned. Listen, I saw the Chargers throwing all over the Broncos. I mean, it wasn't fantastic, but they got, pretty decent yards. Now, I will say, Dez got a lot of targets and didn't catch a lot of them in his first in the opener, but they were playing against the Giants. The Giants always play the Cowboys hard, so that's not a huge surprise. But watch the chemistry. But they're going to take away Cole Beasley. There's nothing's going to happen in the slot for Dallas against the Broncos. Chris Harris Jr. is legit. You can't throw on the guy. So that's not going to happen. They're going to have to go with Dez on the outside, and maybe Williams. Williams is questionable. Flex Ginn or Buck Allen in PPR. And then we got Devontae Parker or Ajayi in the flex. I'm going Ajayi there. Beasley is Dak's favorite receiver. Yeah, but nothing happens in the slot, my friend. Crowder or Moncrief. Got to go Moncrief because Crowder's hurt, right?
Yeah.
Both of those. I'm sorry, man. Or woman. I'm telling you, it's not good. Although people call me man all the time. Maybe that's why I think like that. People are like, oh, man. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Standard. Hooper, Carson, Kelly, or Shepard?
Hooper, Carson, Kelly, or Shepard?
Gotta go Hooper, right?
I don't love the matchup there for him, but yeah, I guess if you're looking for upside, I think that's the way to go. Carson, Rawls is going to get the start. I'm not 100% sure what kind of a role Carson's going to have. Who are the others? There was,
Kelly and Shepard, and
yeah, I can't rely on Shepard.
If here's the problem. If it was a full point PPR and we knew OBJ wasn't playing, Shepard got a ton of catches, which, by the way, is also my problem with Eli Manning. The people were catching the ball. He's just a disaster. I would say that I think Shepard may be a little more valuable than people think, if depending on what happens with this OBJ injury, how long this goes on. But I'm still not starting him over the other guys. So I'm with you. I think you got to do that. Great. Well, guys, please repeat on Periscope again. My apologies that technology is what it is, but we're all in. Corey Davis or Emmanuel Sanders?
Sanders.
I agree with that. I don't think that there's any way you cannot. Bradford is out. There it is. Do I start Thielen, Tyrell Williams, or Jordan Matthews?
Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
I love Tyrell.
That. I do too. Do you mind actually checking on the news stuff? I have so many windows open. I'm not quite sure I can do that too. Should we sit OBJ? Yeah, probably, unless you have an option on Monday. Brandon, marry me. Ha 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 ha. I'm just going to put that out there to remind everyone not to say those things. Looks like Bradford.
Right, because marriage is completely overrated. Speaking on behalf of a married guy, I love my wife. We've been together for over 20 years, but let me tell you something. Marriage is overrated. And Brandon's my work wife. Brandon is my work wife, and I'll say it again. Marriage is overrated.
I think marriage is underrated. I love my husband, but I'm not marrying any of you. None of you. Ever. And looks like Bradford is doubtful. I'm going to go with Thielen or Tyrell Williams. Yeah, again, Tyrell Williams. Thoughts on Luck coming back at all this year? I think he'll come back this year. Hopefully you have a better option. Hopefully you got Phillip Rivers, who's always good for 8 games and then disappears. Because then maybe if Luck comes back to the last 8, you're good to go. The thing is that when Luck is on the field, he's incredibly good. And he throws the ball a lot. He scores a lot of fantasy points. He does throw a lot of interceptions. But from a fantasy perspective, he is a game changer at the end of the season if he comes back, especially if the game scripts are as unfavorable as they are looking. So, yeah. Yeah, I think you have to downgrade Thielen and Diggs. We're going to talk about this real quick. With Bradford out, that's the way it is. Terrence West for Diggs now in my flex PPR. Yes, absolutely. I like Terrence West anyway against the Browns defense. I feel fine about that. Don't worry.
Keep talking. I think I gotta plug in my headset. I keep getting my my battery thing. So just bear with me. You guys stick with Brandon for just a hot second.
Yeah. Come on, everybody. I know you want to talk. All right. So, so let's talk a little bit about that. What are your thoughts on Gillislee and White? I think that Gillislee is the goal line back. Mike Gillislee or Mark Ingram. I'm going Gillislee. I think that Gillislee is the goal line back. I don't even know if that's debatable. And here's what I love about the Patriots. It is so clear what they're going to do all season. And I love this. They are going to go deep into the end zone with Brandon Cooks. And one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to catch the ball or it's going to be pass interference. And they're all over that. And then they're going to be at the 1 yard line. And then they're just going to have Gillislee punch it in. It's like the most obvious game plan I've ever seen. They did it 1,000,000 times against Kansas City. And they're going to do it 1,000,000 times against everybody else. So that is why I am actually more into Gillislee today than I was at the preseason for sure. Even though I was a Gillislee believer last season. I was telling people to start him when everyone thought I was crazy. I was like, oh, no. I am not crazy. He's the goal line back. Well, here he is doing just that. So that's my thought on that. Bradford just ruled out. Yep, great. We are talking about that. Bradford is absolutely not going to play, and you need to downgrade everybody around him, except for maybe Dalvin Cook. Pitt's defense with Bradford out, solid play versus the Rams or Chargers. Buck Allen or Ted Ginn in the flex.
All right. So I'll say Buck Allen in the flex there, just because.
Really?
I mean, listen. Yeah, listen. Who knows where these targets are going in New Orleans? I mean, really, where are they? Michael Thomas is there, and you're looking at potentially being taken out by New England, right? Is that what we're looking at potentially? Who
Michael
else
Thomas
is there?
Being taken out? Yeah, it's just Ted Ginn.
Fleener,
that's why I'm saying I like her.
Ginn. Yeah, okay. I can be convinced. I don't love the play. I think that, I don't love it. But I can definitely get down with it if that's really going to be the only other option.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just feel like he has to throw. I'm big on Coby Fleener today, guys. I got Coby Fleener going like everywhere. I think he finally figured out the offense. Isn't that cute, Howard?
Aw, totes adorbs. This just in. Sean Payton made a comment. We were talking about that New Orleans backfield. Sean Payton said, we never planned on featuring Adrian Peterson like he was featured in Minnesota. We never planned on it at all. So
of course not.
And again, I don't know. Is he serving that up as like a little bit of gamesmanship here that maybe AP gets a little work? I still can't rely on that. I still can't. It's not a reliable situation. So whether or not Peyton's trying to get into the Patriots' head a little bit, who knows? But I'm still not trusting Adrian Peterson. I think it was a wasted draft pick for people.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no chance. When has New Orleans ever featured a running back? They throw the ball. They have Mr. 5,000 yards as their quarterback. It's the opposite of anything that's ever happened in the Vikings history with Adrian Peterson on the field. That was never going to happen. Like literally never. I have zero Adrian Peterson. I couldn't feel better about it. I have no idea what people are thinking. Landry or Diggs? I think you got to go Landry, man. Diggs without Bradford is sad. This is really sad because I was really excited about Bradford. I was really excited about this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now everything's kind of gone to poo-poo. Would you start the Pittsburgh Steelers defense as a quick pivot?
Against Case Keenum? Oh my God, of course I would.
You have to. OBJ or Landry? I'd probably go Landry if you don't have an option on Monday Night Football. Yep. Although OBJ could blow up on your bench. Got to be comfortable with that. Rivers or Palmer? I think you have to go Rivers, right? I know Palmer's a better matchup, but he had a good matchup last week too, and he was horrible. And they don't have David Johnson or John Brown, and I'm sorry, I can't get over the Cardinals. I'm having a mental collapse. I'm admitting it now.
Shh, it's okay. You're okay. You're all right.
I'm never going to get over David Johnson. I'm never going to get over the loss of David Johnson. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so what do you think about that?
What do I think about Palmer versus Rivers?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Rivers here also. I do like Palmer. I do like the fact that he's probably going to throw. He's going to get with Fitz. He's going to get with, what's his face, J.J. Nelson. You've got Jerron Brown there still. I know that Jermaine Gresham was questionable, but if Gresham isn't there, Nicholas is still there as a potential option as well. I think they're going to try and get creative in that backfield there. I think you're going to see a lot of Kerwin Williams to try and solidify it, but I think they're going to rotate guys in and out of there to just kind of lend the support. With Rivers, I mean, listen, you've always got that option of him throwing a touchdown pass to Melvin Gordon. You got Tyrell Williams. You've got Antonio Gates, who everybody is pushing this week, including myself. I do think that they just want to get this record out of the way and kind of figure it out. Hunter Henry's still lurking in the background there. I just think that they've got so many weapons that I think Phillip Rivers is going to be able to just kind of chuck the ball around on this Miami defense, I think. So as long as he's got the opportunity, I think that Rivers is probably going to be the safer play than Palmer.
I felt like he looked decent against Denver, and that's a testament to him looking pretty good against the Dolphins. So I've got Jones Jr. to back up OBJ, sit Ginn or Landry for that.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one for me?
Yeah, he says, I have Marvin Jones on the bench. Do I sit and for OBJ, do I sit Landry or Ginn for that? So in other words, does he wait to see if OBJ plays, or does he play Ginn or Landry instead? And if OBJ doesn't play, then he could put in Marvin Jones.
Oh, yeah, I would do that. I would just hold off until the Monday night game. I think, again, yes, Janoris Jenkins is tough, and Marvin Jones could be meh, but you got yourself that pivot. This is one of those situations where I say you go with OBJ, and if he doesn't start, if something happens to him before in warm-ups, then boom, you've got Marvin Jones you can throw down there anyway.
I would say there's a possibility that Jenkins goes on Galloway.
Really? Galladay?
Sorry.
Galladay?
Yeah. Sorry, I keep saying Galloway instead of Galladay. I don't know what's going on.
You're thinking about Joey Galloway.
See, look at me. I'm just like combining all the names to make the name I want. I think there's a possibility they do that instead. I mean, I think there's a possibility that Jones is the one who's running around being all like whatever. I think that this Detroit offense has changed, and I think that the Giants have decided to look at this year instead of last year. That's my prediction. But listen, as you know, Ben McAdoo, we can't trust him. So maybe they're like, we're actually looking at the tape from 2013. We really like this Calvin Johnson guy. Anyway, you just never know. You never know with this guy. All right, so let's see here. Baldwin or Cooper in a 0.5 PPR?
Is that Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Going Cooper instead of Baldwin?
I got to go Cooper instead of Baldwin. I have to. Again, the concern for me is the Seattle offensive line. I'm not concerned that Russell Wilson can't roll out and find his receivers. But, I mean, if he's just being chased and run down every single time, if they focus a little bit more on Baldwin, then you're going to see what you saw last week, where he's hitting Richardson for 7 targets and Baldwin sees 4. So, Amari Cooper, number 1 wideout, going up against a hapless Jets secondary. I mean, it doesn't even matter who's covering. I think Justin Burris is going to be trying to cover Amari Cooper there. So I'm not into it. I think that the big dogs eat for Oakland in Oakland this week. And, listen, if it means that they're going to pull back and they're going to try and chew the clock up a little bit in the second half, that's fine. They have to get that lead somehow, and that's Amari Cooper.
I like it. I'm going to say this. I think that Baldwin's going to bounce back this week. I think this is a nice matchup. I think they love him. He's playing at home. But I also just love Amari Cooper. I have him everywhere this week. Flex 2, Martavis Bryant or Chris Hogan. Oh, I think the second flex. I would go Hogan, no problem here. I don't like. Listen, I like what's going on now with the Pittsburgh defense. I still think the Pittsburgh offense is going to have a tough time with Minnesota defense. I think Minnesota defense really going to step it up now that Bradford's out. Thielen or Kelvin Benjamin. I think you got to go Benjamin here, man. Again.
Oh my God! Did you see the matchup for Benjamin this week?
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. He's got a 7-inch height advantage. Over what is it Gaines that's covering him? I'm pretty sure it's Gaines. What is it? Yeah, EJ Gaines. There's a 7-inch height advantage for Benjamin. I don't see Benjamin getting huge yardage numbers, but I do see him being targeted very heavily inside the red zone just because all he has to do is reach up, That's it. Reach up. Gaines, he's down here. Benjamin, up here.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. It would be like if I was going up against Tariq Cohen because I'm so much taller than him. All right, Clay or Hooper?
You gotta go Clay. Ew.
You think so?
Ew.
All right.
Ew.
There aren't. Say that, but okay.
I just listen. I don't love it. I don't love having to say it. I mean, I feel a little dirty. I'm not gonna lie, but as much as I love Austin Hooper, and I love Austin Hooper, I'm just not sure that this is the matchup where, you can't chase last week's stats by any stretch of the imagination. And I just think that with the problem with the corners, and I think Julio Jones needs to be fed the ball a ton today. Sanu will also get in on the action there because Green Bay's corners are so bleh that if you even have Cooper running that seam route, Clinton Dix is going to be all over him like white on rice. So that concerns me a little bit there. I hate Clay because the dude's going to come out halfway through the game with a knee problem, but you kind of have to.
Yeah,
Inactives being listed here right now.
Yes.
Let's see if there's anybody super juicy here. Philadelphia at Kansas City. Obviously, Ron Darby is out, but there's nobody else on Philly's side. There's nobody that we didn't expect to see out on Kansas City's side there. So we're good with that game. Chicago, Tampa Bay, Prince of Maka. Guess what? He's out. Hello, Mike Evans. So lovely to see you this week.
Welcome.
Amos, and he is going to hit you all day long. Bears also, they're out without Kyle Long. He's out. Marcus Wheaton's still out. Over on the Bucs side there, again, nobody that we didn't expect to see out. You never like seeing Joe Hawley, the center, out, but they've made it through there. Minnesota, obviously Sam Bradford, he is out. Let's see, over on the Pittsburgh side, again, nobody that we didn't think was going to be sitting out anyway. And that's all I've got for inactives at the moment right now. You guys can go to fantasyalarm.com/NFL/inactives. You got the whole matchup there. It'll go to inactives, but you'll see tabs for weather, projections, DFS salaries, volume, whatever you want. It's fantasyalarm.com/NFL/actives.
Okay. Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, OBJ, Thielen, or Hogan, pick 2.
First 2, Cooper and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I like them too. Henry Dill over on Facebook. He says, "Hey Brandon, I need some help. Hi. Flex this week. He's an in-law. It's good.
All right,
I wanted to sound cool. No. Flex this week. Tariq Cohen, Amir Abdullah, or Chris Hogan. I think you go Hogan. Gotta go Hogan.
I got Hogan around, splattered around the optimals this week. I think Brandon Cooks and Chris Hogan are going to eat. I also think James White is going to be a very interesting play this week coming out of the slot, baby.
All right. I got Ingram or Landry.
Ooh, Landry.
Mariota or Cousins.
Ooh. Mariota.
Corey Davis or Parker. Standard.
Oh. I'm going to go Devontae Parker here. I don't like the matchup. I know he's going to get shadowed. Maybe he doesn't get a lot of yardage, but I'm not so set on Corey Davis very much. I mean, Eric Decker worked, much more extensively during the week here. He saw 2 red zone targets. Rashard Matthews, they love using him. They love Delaney Walker inside the red zone. I'm not so sold yet that Corey Davis is a guy who's going to be doing a bunch of end zone dancing this week. So for that, I'll go the other way.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if Eric Decker didn't drop both of his touchdown passes. But,
wouldn't it, Brandon?
Yeah, but, whatever. I'm sure he's going to be fantastic. Sanders or Allen?
Ooh. PPR or not PPR?
It didn't say.
All right, well, I'll say Allen in a standard league, and I'll say Allen in a PPR.
All right, well, I'm glad that we cleared that up. Yeah, I agree. I think Demaryius Thomas is pretty good. I think that he is going to get a lot of looks. I think Sanders is going to get a lot of looks. But I think versus Dallas, I think they're going to try to control the clock so that they can keep Ezekiel Elliott off the field. So I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more. And as far as the passes are concerned, the good news is that I think they will do those short passes where Sanders is really good and then yards after the catch to try to keep the clock going again in the middle of the field. I don't think they're going to go out of bounds a whole lot here. I think they just want to keep it toned down. Point 0.5 PPR flex 2. Diggs, Thielen, K. Williams, Hearns, Abdullah.
Just a flex play?
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 of them. All right. I'm going to go with Hearns, and I'm going to go with Kerwin Williams. You might as well give Kerwin Williams a shot, you know?
Really? I think I'd go Diggs over Hearns, man.
Diggs, really?
Yeah, I know.
Under center.
I know, but he's still going to catch something.
I am adamantly against it.
All right, I don't know. Kerwin Williams or James White?
Ooh. All right, if you need or think you need the home run, then go with James White. Like, if you think you're looking at that team opposite you and you're like, crap, this is going to be a tough hill to climb, then go with James White because I think he's got a great ceiling in this game. But if you're looking at your opponent and you're like, I'm going to destroy this mother. I'm going to destroy this mother. Then you can go with Kerwin Williams. I feel like Kerwin Williams is going to get the first crack at carries. I think he's going to get that start. I think they're going to work him. They're going to work the other guys in there, yes. But if Kerwin Williams can prove that he can, do a little bit of damage there on the ground, I think they're going to have to try and stick with him because they know that they need a long-term solution. So why take away a guy's momentum now if you think he's running well?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think also adding Chris Johnson back just means they need depth. I didn't think that was a huge, people are like, oh, it's going to be a share. I mean, kind of. They want to keep him fresh. And listen, no one's going to replace David Johnson. That we might as well just put that out there. We all know that. That's okay. But I do think that he has a solid floor in this really cushy matchup. So I'm with you. I think that James White's going to be the short yardage guy. We're just not quite sure. Any Macklin love? Yes. Again, I say that he could have a huge play this week. And I think that if you probably got him really cheap too. And I think he is the guy in Baltimore. We don't know exactly. Again, we haven't been able to see this offense really operate in the way that we need it to. But I think he is good for a good player too. And then they just want to know our general thoughts about Mariota versus the Jags. Again, I think the Jags are a really great defense, but I don't think that they're crazy killer in the way that they were against Houston. I think Tennessee is just a much better team, and I can't believe I have to say that out loud. I thought that was assumed, but I think I think that definitely they have improved. I think Calais Campbell is one of the most underrated players out there. I think he is a game changer, but I feel okay about Mariota just because he has so many weapons that there are just a plethora of things that can happen on any given play. It's literally, they're stacked everywhere. And I think that's going to help him against this defense. How do you feel, Howard?
The thing for me is that, I was looking at Mariota a lot when Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Bouye were both sidelined during the week. Now, they're both supposed to be playing. They're both returned to practice on Friday. So that kind of complicates it a little bit. But, yeah, I agree with you that he does have enough weapons there to kind of make some noise happen. The pass rush is going to be tough. Between Calais Campbell, Dante Fowler, you got guys who are going to be beasting it up coming in at the on the offensive line. So it's going to be a real testament to Tennessee's offensive line, kind of fending off this pass rush, doing their run blocking that they need to do from Murray, whether Murray or Derrick Henry. So I like him. I like Mariota just generally. The matchup isn't ideal this week, but I think if you're talking about the long haul for the duration of the season, there are a few quarterbacks who I love over Mariota.
Yeah. I think that you probably can find a good streamer option out there. I wouldn't put anyone necessarily above him in terms of your season long, but I'm telling you, I'm considering Goff again in DFS. Just putting that out there. I don't know why no one talks about this guy.
Listen, you know what? I've got shares of Cooper Kupp all over in DFS and all over the optimals, and I love that matchup there. I'm not quite ready yet, and especially when I mean, listen, the secondary is a big deal. If you didn't have Josh Norman shadowing Sammy Watkins and that kind of freed things up, then okay. If Gerald Everett, Tyler Higbee had a little bit more of a, of a showing for me, I mean, what they combined for like 5 targets last week. So, I want to see a little bit more of this offense before I put my trust into Jared Goff. But I will say that,
I'm just moving it down.
It's almost like an aerial view. Look at that.
I know. Well, you can't really. It's like I'm just noticing that you can't really see me. Yeah.
Who's getting nauseous now?
I was just noticing that you could see my printers more than you sometimes could see me if I was leaning. Palmer or Winston?
Winston. You got to give him the shot there. I know it's a great matchup for Palmer, but Winston Evans is going to be. I like Winston Evans a lot this week. And maybe I shouldn't because of what you said, Brandon. That whole, they're in week 1, mode right now. But I feel like I can trust him. Yeah, I feel like I can trust in him this week.
Yeah. I saw Palmer, and I saw very little to hang my hat on. I'm having a difficult time. I know it's a good matchup, mentally, but also mentally, I saw that game in week 1. So I'm a little torn on how I feel about Palmer, and I think that he might be a little overplayed, frankly. Thoughts on Alvin Kamara?
I like Alvin Kamara a lot. I think he is a good, solid, long-term play for the duration of the season. I'm not in on him right now as a starter, only because you still have this crowded backfield. And who knows, maybe the Saints turn around and they dick Adrian Peterson over with 5 or 6 carries again, and he's like, you know what, fuck this, I'm out of here. And he walks away. Adrian Peterson came out and said, I didn't sign up for 9 carries a game. Okay, well, that's fine. If you didn't sign up for 9 carries a game and the Saints don't give you, what you want for the first 2 weeks, I have no issue seeing him walk away from this. I really don't. It's not like the dude needs the money unless he's totally blown everything that he's earned over the course of his career. But I think Kamara is a guy who, come the second half of the year, could own this Saints backfield job.
Yeah, Diggs and Rudolph or Thomas and Ginn full point PPR. First of all, I would mix that up. I would maybe do Ginn and Diggs.
Really?
Yeah, I still think Diggs is the number 1 guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
not scared by Pittsburgh's defense. I know Case Keenum's going to throw interceptions, but that has nothing to do with Diggs. So I feel like he's still going to make a couple plays. I don't love him, but I guess also you can also think of the start your studs against Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a very good wide receiver. There's a possibility that he beats coverage, you guys. I saw that New England Patriots team, and I wasn't scared by their defense either. Frankly, their defense is why they lost that game. And you can say what you want about how Tom Brady was throwing or not throwing. He had some great passes. He had some bad passes. I agree. But really, it was that defense. So maybe Michael Thomas is A-okay. You just start your studs. You say, you know what, I'm going Thomas, and maybe Ginn for some upside there, and then totally leave Minnesota in the dust. Otherwise, maybe you want to do Thomas and Diggs. But
I like Thomas and Rudolph. I like Thomas and Rudolph here.
Diversify then, but don't sit here and say, okay, well, it's all game over, because neither of these defenses are scary to me. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Pittsburgh or New England is incredibly scary. So Bradford out, Flacco and Tyrod Taylor still on waiver wire. Who should I pick up?
What do you need a quarterback? You don't have another
situation
quarterback?
like this. I'm in a situation like this because
really?
because I went Dalton.
Oh,
that ain't happen no more. Oh, that late round quarterback did not work out for me this year. So I picked up Bradford. And now I'm going to go out in there and pick up someone too. So I think a lot of people are in that situation. And I have a great team. I just have this quarterback disaster zone and I can't get out of it. So the Bills are going up against the Panthers. We also have a McCoy question, how we think he's going to do. I think McCoy's always a must start. Guys, also, veterans sit out practices and it's okay. We need to all take a chill pill here with McCoy. I want him to sit out practice. I'd be happy if he didn't practice ever. Get him out. What? He doesn't even practice. McCoy, give me a break. So there's that versus the Panthers. And then, of course, it's Joe Flacco against the Browns. The only worry about Joe Flacco, of course, here is that if they get way, way ahead, they're going to just Terrence West this and call it a day, which is possible, again, because they're good defense and going up against Deshaun Kaiser. So I guess I'd go Tyrod Taylor when I'm talking out loud.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Tyrod Taylor over Joe Flacco. I mean, the dude threw 17 times last week. They've already said they want to make a major commitment to the run. The offensive line is rock solid. They're looking for to make a major push there. And the Ravens have already said it. If we don't have to have Joe Flacco throwing it 42 times a game like we did all through last year, we're going to spare him the wear and tear right now. Let him hand it off. He's got Terrence West. Then he's got Javorius Allen. So where do you stand on this whole Javorius versus Buck Allen thing?
I say it all together because I don't want to offend anybody because I'm a weenie.
Isn't Buck his nickname? Buck is not sitting on his birth certificate.
I call it Javorius Buck Allen. Then he can grab whatever portion he wants, and then he can feel good.
You know what? If I knew him well enough, to refer to him by his nickname, okay, fine. If I was a teammate of his, okay, fine. But I'm a total stranger. I don't know this dude. Why am I calling him Buck?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. If seriously, if anybody like that didn't know me was like referring to me as like Gravy Boat, I'd be like, you don't know me? My name's Howard.
Right. It is a little funky town. I don't know. I'm not really a big nickname person, to be entirely frank. I mean, I'm a woman who goes by Brandon, so I didn't do the Brandy thing. So clearly, I've made a statement. But
we need a nickname for Brandon. What do you guys think out there? Brandon Marianne Lee is the name. She doesn't have a nickname. We need a nickname for her. So shoot your suggestions over Periscope. Shoot your suggestions over Facebook. You guys can email me, howard@fantasyalarm.com. I'll put together a list. And then next week, we're going to come up with a good and solid nickname for Brandon.
Please keep them PG. We have
any douchey calls there, anything sexual or anything like that, you're out. You bounce. I won't even answer your questions because you're such a moron. Yep. But if you come up with like a good, solid nickname for Brandon Marianne Lee, bring it on.
Well, someone's just suggested Bob, so we're off to the races.
What's up, Bob?
Bob. I used to call it B, but that's like not a nickname. That's just like lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, do you want West or Cook?
Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go with West. I love. You know what? I think with Bradford out, I think you kind of have to shift over to Cook. I do like Terrence West a lot, and I do think that he'll chew the clock up in the second half, and I do think that he, obviously takes those goal line situations. But, yeah, I think king of the checkdowns, Case Keenum, is going to be hitting Dalvin Cook as much as he possibly can. So, yeah, I'll go Dalvin here. I love Dalvin Cook.
Stack Deshaun or Evans with Winston in DraftKings?
Oh, I'm stacking him with Evans. I've got Jameis Winston and Evans all over my GPPs for stacking purposes there, definitely.
Yeah, I have a lot of Deshaun Jackson, though, too. He's just so cheap for what I think he's going to do. We have a question about, would you put both Gillislee and White in a lineup this week?
No, I would not. I never, ever, ever start two backs from the same team. People ask me that all the time. Should I start Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman? No. Absolutely not. Yeah. Now, I understand that James White is probably going to be coming out of the slot a lot more today, and he could be construed more as a receiver than a running back. And Gillislee gets those those goal line carries. But I'm sorry, if anything happens to the Patriots, and let's say the Saints come out firing, let's say the Saints make the Patriots look like a bunch of chumps. What happens to the ground game there? So not only then do you lose both backs, but you got no upside to carry you through on the running game.
I agree. Do you think Philip Dorsett does anything today?
Ooh, I do think that Philip Dorsett will probably get in a little work. What did he get? 18 snaps last week? I'm sure he'll see an increase of snaps because, listen, there's Cooks and there's Hogan. There's nobody else there. Danny Amendola's gone. So, yeah, I mean, I think Dorsett gets something, but I'm not going to rely on him. He's like a GPP play,
or a deep league. Yeah. Okay. So we got Garcon, Thielen, Ginn, or Crowder. Ugh. Give it to me in order here, because I think you got to start with Garcon for safety, right?
Ginn for upside.
Yeah, and I guess Thielen and Crowder. That Crowder injury has me really worried, and I do not like Washington at Los Angeles Rams this week. I think that's not lovely. We got a question about Mariota versus Cousins, and I wanted to talk about Cousins. He had 2 fumbles and an interception last week. He got decent yardage, it was like 260 or something, and then a touchdown. But I am worried about this Washington offense. And you know what? It's funny because I should have thought of this before. And by the way, every preseason we make good calls, bad calls. I should have realized that if I'm a Sean McVay groupie, I should have taken more into account him leaving Washington. And I take responsibility for that. So, man, they're having a tough time. They're having a really tough time. And I think you have to be worried. I think you also have to be worried because Crowder and Reed are both injured. I hate what's going on with Reed injury, where they're like, yeah, this could linger forever. So
that's the guy. That's the guy you want a lingering injury forever for. Jordan Reed. That's the best. I love that.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not what I wanted in my life. But yeah, so that makes me nervous. We're almost here at noon, so I'm going to ask you a couple more questions here, and we're just going to spit them on out. We got RB2, Adrian Peterson, Tevin Coleman, or Tariq Cohen?
Tariq Cohen.
Agreed. JJ Nelson over Diggs and Standard?
Yes.
Agreed. Someone suggested Bran Muffin Lee.
Interesting.
We're going in we're going in a direction. Okay. Also, Fantasy Alarm said BML, which is technically, I guess, a nickname, but it's also my initials. So I don't know. Does that count? Do initials count as a nickname, or do you just sometimes go by initials?
Well, considering you're talking to a guy who is a New York Jew whose initials actually spell the word Heb, it's out for me as a nickname. But for you, for BML, I kind of like, it like flows there. BML. What's up, BML?
Yeah. So people do call me BML and B, but I'm not quite sure if those are nicknames. They're more abbreviations. But I'm in. We got Jay Ajayi or Jaquiz Rogers.
Well, I gotta go with Ajayi. I do.
Play your studs. Still week 2.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I didn't want to jump on that, but like, come on now. I mean, it's Ajayi. If he's playing, he's fine.
It's Ajayi. Yeah.
That was me being a New Yorker coming out. Antonio Brown versus Minnesota. Your thoughts on that?
You know what? Xavier Rhodes is playing, but Xavier Rhodes is a little banged up. If it's a seasonal league, I'm all in. You've got to start Antonio Brown. He's a must start every single week. If you're playing in DFS, he's more of a GPP for me just because Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith will come over, help out a little bit there. So that's a little bit more touch and go for me. However, seasonal, he's a must. Yeah.
So here's my question then about Martavis Bryant. I have him nowhere, so I don't really have any investment here. But how do you feel about him this week? It's tough to bounce back. I mean, he's at home, but he's going up against the Vikings.
It's a tough matchup. I'm not in love with it. As always, it depends on who else is gonna, who you're gonna sit in favor of using Martavis Bryant. I mean, listen, Bryant is boom or bust right now. He has not shown. It's tough to look back, a couple of years ago to say, well, there wasn't really a whole lot of consistency there. But Bupkis in week 1, and against a young secondary in Cleveland. So the fact that he didn't get squat there gives me pause. And now you're looking at a tough matchup here for him against Minnesota. So, I'm not using him anywhere in DFS. I'm not using him in any of my lineups because I have better depth than that.
Yeah. PPR flex, Gillislee, Tate, Sanders, Crowder.
How many do I need? Gillislee, Tate, Sanders, Crowder. I'm going Sanders.
All right. I like it. I think it's that. If you need upside, though, I think Gillislee, again, I love that pass interference on the 1 yard line. He goes in, move that they got going on there. Demaryius Thomas or Keenan Allen in Standard?
Ooh, I'll go Keenan Allen here.
Okay. I think this is close, though. Good team if you're able to make a choice there. I mean, I think they're both really good. I liked what I saw from Demaryius Thomas. I actually said that he's a contrarian pick for me this week in DFS. I don't think anyone's going to be on him, but they're going to need to pass if they want to keep up with Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys. So I am intrigued by that. But I don't think in season long that I would go there. But I think if you're doing dart throws and kind of trying to think outside the box, I think Demaryius Thomas is someone no one's talking about, which I find incredibly intriguing. And then we got Parker or Diggs in PPR. I think we've done this a couple times. Definitely Parker. Parker's matchup's either going to be great or terrible because Verrett's out, but he could be shadowed by Hayward. We're not quite sure what's going on there exactly, but either way, it isn't Diggs with Case Keenum, so that's that. Thoughts on Alex Smith versus the Phillies defense? Not a lot, man.
The Phillies?
Woman.
Philly.
Yeah.
Like, are we in baseball mode here?
We're going to shift over. How you feeling about Verlander? No, I feel like, Alex Smith had a great game. I do think this is the best team he's played with. We talked about this a little bit earlier. But as far as your fantasy lineups are concerned, I think it's going to be a little difficult to play him regardless. I think he's going to have to do something, though. I do think that Philadelphia's offense is a little underrated. I'm not into Nelson Aguilar, though. If you notice, though, his ownership rates didn't go up a whole lot on a lot of these sites either. It looks like we're not alone if you are also a little skeptical. We have to get out of here in a second here, but do you have any thoughts on Nelson Aguilar or who you think is going to emerge from that Philadelphia offense?
I like Alshon Jeffrey today. I think the matchup is a positive one for him. I think that Wentz wants to connect with Alshon Jeffrey on a regular basis. Not a great matchup coming out of the slot for Aguilar this week. So I think that, they went there last week because it was purely matchup based, and Aguilar was he just had a height advantage, he had a reach advantage, and I think that just kind of worked for them. So I think that Alshon Jeffrey kind of does the eating for the big dog this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to say also someone that I think is a little bit of a contrarian pick is Jesse James was a matchup play last week against the Browns because the Browns gave up the most points to tight ends, and so they just kind of went there again for last season. But this week, if you notice, Coby Fleener was the only touchdown for the Saints in week 1 against the Vikings. Now, what am I talking about here? No, I'm sorry. They're going up against, the Vikings. So he was the only touchdown. I think there's a possibility they go to the tight end again in the end zone. I think he's a possible touchdown guy. Last question here. Thielen, Crowell, or Olsen in the flex? I don't think we've even said the words Greg Olsen together in this entire season, which is intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably, if I'm flexing it, I would probably just go with Greg Olsen here. I mean, I like Crowell a lot, I do, but I do think that they could be playing from behind a little bit more than usual.
Baltimore's run D.
Yeah. So, and then, Thielen, again, it's Case Keenum, guys. It's Case freaking Keenum. I got some more inactives. You want me to run through them here real quick?
Yes,
Anybody
please.
Interesting? Darius Butler, Vontae Davis, both out still for the Colts. They're not going to be around. Chester Rogers is also inactive for the Cardinals. John Brown, Deion Buchanan, DJ Foster. Blaine Gabbert is inactive today. Hello, Drew Stanton. Jermaine Gresham, inactive today. Do not use him as a punt play at tight end. If you got a punt at tight end, Jared Cook, definitely an option. You could even possibly think of going Troy Nicholas here because the Colts suck against the tight end. So Troy Nicholas for a deep dive in the GPP. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, Jacksonville. Nobody of any major note. Tennessee does not have Cyprian in. He's inactive, so perhaps maybe that kind of makes an impact. Nobody on the Jag side there. TJ Smeldon, he's inactive again. Shocker. Mm-hmm. Patriots and Saints. Danny Amendola, we know he's out. Donta Hightower, he's out again. That makes that Coby Fleener play a little bit more, a little more tasty with Donta Hightower out. So
Juicy.
That could definitely work. It also benefits whatchamacallit. Who was I gonna say? I don't even know. Just went out of my head there.
There's just a lot of benefits there.
There's
a lot of benefits because it's Drew Brees at home. Again, I mean, I think, and by the way, it's just one more question about at home. Ben Roethlisberger is usually good at home, but this is a tough defense. Now, they have Case Keenum, so he could be in good field position. How do you feel about Ben Roethlisberger today as kind of a pivot? Because I don't think anyone's really on Ben Roethlisberger.
Listen, I'll give Big Ben a shot, depending on who it is. If you're asking me if I'm going to start Big Ben or Alex Smith, I'm going to start Big Ben. Right. I mean, it's just, I know it's a tough matchup for him, but for the same token, I'm not going to sit here. I know what Alex Smith usually does, so I'm not going to buy into that. So yeah, I don't have a problem starting Big Ben today.
Awesome. Well, let's get on out of here. It's 12:08. We're a little over, but we started a little late. So, we gave you the goods, guys.
It's your injury time.
It's your injury time. We gave it all. Good luck, Howard. I hope that you have a good week too.
You as well. And are you? Her fantasy football was on last night on Sirius XM. So you guys catch me tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. On Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, me and Lisa Ann, my other work wife.
Yeah, you're a polygamist. It's really pretty great.
Fantasy polygamist. There you go.
Yeah.
She's got it better than me.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Good luck in week 2. We appreciate you being on here. We're going to be here every week. We got this live stream going. We're working it out. We're going to bring you your inactives, do your sit-start questions. It's going to be fantastico. So go set those lineups. You got 50 minutes. I believe in you. Have a good week. Good luck. Bye-bye.